In India, heart disease is very common. In fact, it is one of the major reasons of death amongst Indians all over the world. Now, if you think about it, we all know someone with heart disease. It might be a friend, a family member, an uncle, an aunt, maybe your colleague, or maybe your neighbor. Unfortunately, we all know someone with heart disease. Now, research has shown us that Indians get heart disease almost 5 to 10 years earlier than our Western counterparts. And when we do get heart disease, we do much worse. Now, your heart sits in the chest, something like this. The heart gets its nutrition and oxygen from 3 arteries. That is the LAD, the left anterior descending, right in the front, the circumflex, which goes on the side, and the right coronary artery, right in the back. Together, these 3 arteries give heart the oxygen and nutrition they need. The best way to look at these arteries is by a coronary angiogram. A catheter is taken either through your wrist or through the groin. They take the catheter all the way up into the heart. They release dye, and using specialized X-rays, look for blockages. Normally, your vessels are nice and smooth. Now, this is an example of a normal coronary angiogram. You can see how nice and smooth the vessels are, how the blood is flowing smoothly and uniformly. Now, if you have risk factors like diabetes, blood pressure, cholesterol issues, or maybe you smoke, then you are at a risk of developing blockages in the arteries of the heart. Now, these blockages look something like this. The yellow is the plaque, that is cholesterol deposits. Over a period of time, this can narrow the vessel and lesser amount of blood flows through. On an angiogram, it looks something like this. You can see how right in the center there is an area of very tight blockage. You can also see how nice and thick the vessel is before the blockage and how nice and thick the vessel is after the blockage. This is a patient I treated a few weeks ago, a 35-year-old guy who had blood pressure and diabetes and also used to smoke and came in with really bad chest discomfort. Now, back in the 1970s, when my father was trained to be a cardiologist, the only way to open up blocked arteries were medicines. But in the late 90s and early 2000s, when stents were developed, this was a medical breakthrough. We now had a way to open up blocked arteries. Patients could not only feel better, they also started living longer. Now, what is a stent, you may ask? A simple way to think of a stent is like a spring in a ballpoint pen. These stents are very thin. In fact, the thickness of a stent is less than that of one human hair. The initial stents were made of stainless steel, but with newer advances in technology, newer alloys were developed, like platinum chromium and cobalt chromium. These alloys can now take the bends and conform to the shape of the artery that is needed. With the advances in technology, these stents are also coated with special drugs which keep the artery open even longer and prevent the stent from closing down. These are called drug-eluting stents. With newer advances in technology, we now have stents that completely dissolve over a period of time, leaving no foreign body behind. Now, coming back to our patient, you can see over here this patient has a very tight blockage in the right coronary artery. And what you can see over here is a stent which is being deployed across the area of blockage. After the stent is deployed, the narrowing goes away and blood flows through. Now, just because you had a stent does not mean you can take it easy. You still have to take your medicines, exercise, and control your diet so you don't get newer blockages and this stent remains open. I hope you enjoyed the segment. See you next week.